Friday, everyone. Your real worth isn't defined by your net worth. What makes you valuable is how you use what you have been given. All of us have gifts. Make sure you're making the most of yours. Have an amazing Friday.
It is now the bottom of the hour. I'm excited to welcome Nancy Matthews to our program today. Nancy is an author of a book. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel for you guys. There it is, The One Philosophy. We're going to talk to Nancy not only about the re-release of the book, but also what it's been like for her to share the message with all of you guys. Nancy, great to have you on with us.
Hello, hello, hello. So happy to be here.
Raise your hand if you've ever been busy. Raise your hand if you've ever got tired and feel like you just need a couple days off. Most people would have both hands up right now. That's our world, fast-paced and income-driven. That's why we get caught up in our own lives so often, and that's why it's understandable when most people don't focus on worries that aren't their own. So what makes someone become a humanitarian? Someone whose whole life focuses on the welfare of other humans.
When you go back and you see kids that were living on the streets, kids had no structure, they had no routine, people who had nothing, they didn't have meals. When you see that they're all of a sudden they're waking up, they have structure, they have something to do, they have a meal in their belly, their life changes completely. They like I said, their self-esteem changes, their self-worth, their ability to know who they are in the world and what they have the potential of becoming, you know, to give that hope, to give that dream, and then to watch people actually use that to do good for themselves and others it's amazing. It becomes an addiction.
And with Serena's help, we'll find the meaning of life to a humanitarian.
always like that. You know what? When I redo our intro, which is going to be for July, so you're going to be surprised. I'm going to keep
Ooh,
music. I think I want to keep that music.
I like that music.
Yeah, I think I want to keep that background music, but just change up. We got to, we're changing. We're 2 years in. And I said, we
2
got to
years.
do a little flavor, a new, different
Yeah,
flavor of us. So,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
you'll be seeing it. So me and my
2
co-host
years.
have a new intro next week.
Yay! I'm
Yay.
excited. I can't wait. See, something to look forward to.
Always, always. So, lady, are you ready for today?
And isn't that just the spice of life? I'm sorry, what?
Are you ready for today's show?
I am ready for today's show. It's bittersweet, because we're going to celebrate Pat. And because she was such a part of this, she was my best business friend. And she was part of the Diamond Factor network, and she was a host on this network. And but now we've been here 2 years, and so we want to celebrate. Yeah. So yes, we're sad, and yet we're celebrating too that we have been on the air for 2 years, and this month has been amazing to have so many great guests, that have come on, that we had on previously in the last 2 years, and that every one of them that I asked said yes right away. Wow. There wasn't any hesitation. There was nothing. There was like, well, of course I'm going to come on and celebrate with you. And so each one of them was that, and that is a testament to that they had a good, number one, they had a good time on the show. And then we had such a great conversation about the things that are going on in our lives that have happened in the last 2 years.
Yes, definitely. So,
some of it was good, some of it not so good. Losing Pat was part of the not so good part. And yet she would be celebrating. If she was here, she would be celebrating with us. So
and
that's how I look at it.
And it's funny, Barbara, because when you just said that about she would be celebrating, because when I was putting together the video last night, and I kind of I was in and out with the emotions, because it was just first of all hearing her voice and editing and putting stuff together and just looking at her beautiful face and her beautiful aura about her. And you're right. I always, one thing about Pat, she was on it. She loved life. She loved her friends. She loved you. I mean, you two had this wonderful bond. But then when it came to business and making sure people understood how to run their business, she was on it. She was on it. In fact, I want to share, because this was the first thing because I met her through you, of course, Angels with Angels, Queens with Queens. And she just decided, I know you said, well, Pat might be another person that you want under the Diamond Factor as an expert. At that time I was testing out stuff. And I said, okay.
Right. Exactly.
And again, like you said, Barbara, it was no struggles or anything. She was just like, I'm open to it. And I just want to show the first, this is when I was playing around with banners and trying.
I can't wait to see this. This is going to be fun.
So this was the first banner that I created for her when she joined under the Diamond Factor. What a wonderful,
and I'm going to share. I watched her having that picture taken. We were in Florida, and we had a photo. We were having a photo session, and that was the picture. And we went through had fun looking through all the pictures that they would that she had taken, and that was the one we said, oh, that just is absolutely Pat.
Yes, it is. And she's glowing in that picture. I could tell. Yeah, she has that piece about her, and I said, that's like a photo, like what they say, like a photo thing where you should put on a magazine and stuff. Yeah. That's the picture.
That was the picture.
Yeah, so I wanted to share it because I was, like I said, I was looking through things, and I said, oh my God, that tells you right there that first of all, probably I need to clean out some stuff and put some stuff in, in folders.
But I'm so glad you kept it.
But I kept it.
I'm so glad.
I was like, I said, God is so good, because me and Barbara, we both are Christians. We believe in God. So just let everybody know.
Women of faith.
and we're in the faith. And he's so good because a lot of stuff that I thought I didn't have, because I was trying to, with your computer, you can't
Right.
take too many videos and stuff. So I have a drive that's outer drive that I save stuff in, so I don't lose anything. Well, I was concerned because I said, did I download those videos? That was like last year. And I was like, I hope I downloaded it. And then I was just looking, Barbara, and then all of a sudden I couldn't find it. I was like, oh no. I was like panicking for a minute. And then all of a sudden, see, the little whisper in my ear said, check your drive that you use to save your other videos, Barbara. It might be there. As soon as I checked, Barbara, it's right there. In fact, like I said,
I found it.
I said, yeah, I found it. I don't have to disappoint me and Barbara. Because I know we talked about this and I brought it up and I said, Barbara, wouldn't it be nice if we can just, at the last show that we have in June, since we're celebrating a whole month for our anniversary, is just to bring up, the Queen of Queens, as I call her, and just, run the last one. Because it was funny. The one that we're going to see in a little bit is, you could tell that was when we were first starting out doing the show. Well, not first, but we were into it. And we were just, I could just tell we still had that, you and I'm saying we still have that spark as co-hosts, even though we were still working and doing the show. So I thought that was exciting too, just to see that.
Yeah. And, and Pat's been gone a year now. And in some ways it seems like yesterday. It was a year in April.
Yes.
And still once in a while it's like, ooh, no, she's gone, because I mean, we would just, the phone would ring and Barb, what do you think of this? And he was like, Barb, what do you think of this? And I mean, we just had such, and it was like, oh, you must have heard me because I think this, because we were doing stuff. Like we were doing quite a few things together, and just going to Disney World, and
I see she's like Disney World.
We cruised together.
See, that's why I said I know you two had such a wonderful bond together, and I didn't know that she liked Disneyland so much. I didn't know she liked the Mickey Mouse so much.
She totally a Mickey Mouse girl. And she lived fairly close to Disney Springs, and she went there all the time, and she volunteered there.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Just really a lot of things. And we went to concerts there, and just, whenever because I would go down and we would go on whatever we were doing, and then we would just play. Let's just talk. And it was automatically we would go to Disney.
Wow.
She loved
it. I seen some of them.
Like, I would say almost every week.
Wow. That's
oh yeah.
Disney.
Oh yeah. I would say, oh, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm going to Disney. Oh, what are you doing? I'm going to Disney. She had a forever pass.
Well, of course, you have to like that, right? You have to invest in that if you're going to go all those times.
Oh yeah.
Disney
and
just but Disney is right. They're so right about Disney. It brings out the child in you, no matter what age you are. It's like you just it's magic. It really is magical.
And just to see the pictures of us there, we had we always just had such a good time, and just some of the fun things we did. Like I'll tell on myself. The Ghirardelli. Well, if you go in, they hand you a chocolate whenever you go in. Yeah. So I mean, you get a sample. You get a little sample, and then you buy, and then you go out the other door. Well, they don't always keep track of who comes in the door.
So
I think I would go out.
About to happen.
And we would walk around, and then it was like, oh, let's hit the Ghirardelli store again. And so we go through, and we would get another sample.
Barbara, you know what? I shouldn't even be surprised.
Because but we did buy bags and bags of them. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So we thought it kind of justified, but we would try, because you don't want to buy a whole bag of something you haven't tried. So we would go in and we would try every time we went in. We would try. Oh, what's your sample? Yeah. Who us? We didn't do that.
I would have did the same thing, Barbara. You're not alone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And so often we would think it would just, sometimes she would be saying something and I would look at her and go, I was just thinking that. Like one of the times on one of the cruises that we went on, and we were just kind of walking. We were in port, and I don't remember where we were, but we were in port, and we were just walking. The beach was nice, and it was okay, and we were walking along, and just enjoying the sunshine. And then out of her mouth was coming, I'd rather be on the ship than walking here. I went, let's go. Back to the ship we went. We sprawled out on they had these absolutely wonderful deck chairs. I mean, we had our cocktail, an adult beverage. Yes, we did. But I'm going to, so one other, and then that's it for confessions. Then, of course, it was like never ending ice cream.
Oh my God. So you went from
on the ship. Never, you could get ice cream 24/7.
Yeah, because you had that what they call all inclusive.
It was an all inclusive. So we went back to the ship, and we had ice cream and an adult beverage.
You can get so much trouble like that. Because that's why I like those all inclusive, because you can just keep on and just It's like whoa.
But it was, any time of the day, 24/7.
You can get up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and still, you did 3 o'clock in the morning, you got the ice cream, you got the drinks. It's like, okay.
8 o'clock in the morning. Ice cream on waffle for breakfast. It was like, oh yeah. And it was like, we would just kind of look at each other and go, ice cream? Off we would go. It was never ending.
That would be so cool. It's funny you say that, because I've been thinking lately that it would be nice to have like a girls trip. Just like a few of us get together and let's do like a little cruise or something.
Yeah, I
think
you do. You do your own thing. You really do your own thing. Like we didn't spend every minute together. We did our own things. That if I wanted to do something or she wanted to do something, but we met in the middle. And sometimes it would be like, oh, okay, I just need a break. And we would just sit in the shade or in the sun, whichever we felt like. And the lounge chairs, it was great.
And you just lay back with your adult
total relaxation for a week.
I said, you just lay back with your adult drink.
Just lay back. Yeah, we didn't do that often, because neither one of us were big drinkers. However, it was just really once in a while. It was like, ooh, let's have one of those, foo-foo. I mean, there's probably no alcohol in it, but it was a foo-foo drink.
But it's funny, because I know last time I did like an all-girls trip, and I'm going way back for me, in my 20s, and we had like 7 of us. It was weird. It was like 7 young 20-year-olds, just free, and then one guy, because for some reason he didn't want to let my friend, it was her boyfriend, he didn't want to have her go by herself. We went to Cancun, and I was like, okay, you're kind of like taking sand to the beach type of thing.
Right. Exactly. And the thing is, and the thing is, taking a trip like this, and why are we talking about this right now? Yes, we are honoring Pat, but it's also one of the things that you and I truly believe in is it comes under the heading of self-care. Yes. And self-care, ladies and gents, is not selfish.
Thank you. Always.
It is not selfish. You must do it. So my little lesson for the day is, so often we, those voices in our head that beat ourselves up, that beat us up, that we're not worthy, we're not good enough, we're not this, we're not that, we're too this, we're too that, all of those. Well, one of the things we all do it. We all do it. The thing is that it takes 3 positive things to offset a negative thing.
Wow. I didn't know that.
They have researched it.
Wow.
They have researched it. So when and the thing is, though, it starts with being aware, just being aware of what you're thinking about. And it comes out as a feeling. So when you have a feeling that something is hard or something is just, kind of that down, you're just starting, you can feel your emotions sinking. That is your something in your head going on. When you become aware of that, just be aware of it. Ooh, what am I thinking that? Why am I thinking that? Just, or not even why sometimes, but just, I wonder where that came. I wonder where that thought came from. And then turn it around and say, but you know what? That's not true. This is true. The opposite of it. Because our negative emotions, that is what's coming from our subconscious. And that's where that, in fact, I'll give you an example. Last week, I was doing a project, and it was like, I'm not liking this. Did I stop right then? No. Kept going. Then it was like, and then finally it was like, why am I not getting this? Frustration is setting in. Then it was what's wrong with me that I am not getting this?
Yes.
What's wrong? And how often what's wrong with me that I'm not getting this? And in that second, Barb, it was one of those come to Jesus moments. Because then, as I said that, what's wrong with me that I'm not getting this? It was that voice in my check of my spirit, because you're not supposed to be doing it.
Oh, bingo.
I'm not supposed to be doing this. Oh, no wonder I'm having problems with it. No wonder but I was starting to get, and then then those negative voices in my head were trying to make me feel depressed, make me feel just out of sorts, and it was starting to escalate. And then, of course, it was like, Barbara, you're not supposed to be doing. Well, if you're not supposed to be doing this, shut this off. What am I going to do that's fun to offset what I had just been starting to beat myself up about? I was not supposed to be doing that. So when you are, so that's my lesson of the day. We're not supposed to be, we get caught up in our labels, and we're not supposed to live by our labels. We are supposed to live by who we are. You and I, we are children of God. We are positive. We are queens. We are beautiful. We are wonderful. We are accomplished. We are confident.
Yes.
All of those words. There is nothing wrong with us.
Thank you. So true.
Stop labeling yourself that I'm not worth it. I'm not worthy. Or I'm not good at this. That's a label that we are putting on ourselves. Stop doing it. Hear me? Stop doing it.
I think all the way to China heard that.
Stop doing it. The thing is, stop doing it. And it is a choice.
Yes.
When you feel that negative, when there's something negative coming at you.
Yes.
Oh, where is that coming from? If you can't place it, it's too deep. Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing. But this is something that I'm going to do instead. Think back to a memory that was happy, something that you did well. And I really encourage you to go in the mirror, when you're feeling it, go stand in front of the mirror and say, like in my case, for both of us, Barbara, I am so proud of you that you did this.
Yes. So see, Okay.
I am
so
so proud of you that you did this. Whatever it was. I don't care if it was that you put shoes on. I don't care if it was that you made your bed. I don't care if it was that you just, whatever it is. Doesn't matter.
They count.
I am so proud of you for.
Well, going into so proud. So I'm so proud of us because now we're going to take you back down memory lane. And
I'm so excited. This is going to be fun.
This is when we brought Pat on our show, Time to Shine Show, and we had a wonderful time. You're going to love this. We're going to sit back. Me and Barbara's going to sit back and watch our friend and really just celebrate her while we're celebrating our 2-year anniversary with her in spirit, because she's always around us, right, Barbara? She's always around us. But you know what I got to do? I got to make sure the sponsors are happy. So we're going to bring them on, and then we're going to bring on the other half of our show with Mrs. Pat. So we'll be back.
When you do nothing, nothing happens. Best time to take action is now. This is the time to work on you and your business. So I've created a group, an online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help you to start helping yourself.
Helped me change my life and my business.
Not a Toastmasters, it's not a BNI, it's not any of these, but it is. So it's all this stuff in one place.
Get the results that you deserve right now. So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen. See you in Power Partners.
Good morning. I'm Pat Knauer, and today, welcome to there and change somebody's life. That's what we're here for. That's what it's all about. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello, everybody. This morning, Tuesday. We are here, and you see we have 3 people instead of 2 this morning, which is even better. This is our Happiness One-on-One show with the BBs, as we call each other.
Yes, we are.
But we're going to say BBP.
BBP. BBP.
With Mrs. Pat this morning, which is so awesome to have her on the show this morning. And, she's been really, in fact, she's kind of been our kind of backup person too, because I know last week, since I couldn't come on due to technical challenges, she came on with Barbara and they did an awesome, tremendous job. So thank you, Pat, for coming, sitting in for me, and you can do that any day, any day that you want.
Always a good time to chat with Barbara, let's face it.
I know, you can't help it. She just puts that smile on your face. So we're going to go right into it. We have some good stuff to talk about, and Barbara, I'm going to let you kind of dig into it.
Okay. Well, last week, for those of you that were listening, and welcome today. For those of you that were listening, Pat and I got on the subject of shame last week, because you know what? Happiness is so important. We absolutely want to be happy. We deserve to be happy. Unfortunately, a lot of the things that are under that is keeping us from being happy is the word shame. And shame is such an uncomfortable word. It's an uncomfortable feeling. It's so uncomfortable that you don't even want to hear the word to begin with. But the thing is, though, when we keep it hidden out of our conscious awareness, you want to pretend it's not there, but that's where it absolutely lives in the darkness and keeps us stuck, and it continues to affect us forever until we bring it out. And it's behind that self-critical voice in your head. And shame is so personal. We've all dealt with it at one point or another. And it's a painful feeling of humiliation that you've done something wrong and that you're the only one that's done it. And how can you possibly tell anybody about it? Because it is so embarrassing to you. The thing is, though, it is also poison, absolutely poison. And it is poisoning absolutely every aspect of your life. your happiness, your relationships, your job, your ability to earn income, everything is grounded in shame. But so we're here today to bring it out into the open, because the possibilities of opportunity is huge when you bring it out into the light. So today, this is all about getting it out into the light, exposing it, and just so that we can all just increase our happiness to the nth degree. So I'm just so excited about talking about this. I'm excited, and yet, oh brother, we're talking about shame. Because we've all done things that we do not want to have, talked about on the rooftops. But that's exactly where shame tries to keep us, is in that darkness, that we're the only ones that have ever gone through something. And so that's why, right now, I think it's such an important subject, because so much more of it is coming out, and you're hearing about it in the news of people doing crazy things.
Yeah.
Totally crazy things. Seriously crazy things.
Seriously crazy things.
And the thing is that when shame is not dealt with, it shows up as alcoholism, self-abuse, drug abuse, suicide, abusing family members and friends verbally, physically. I mean, it shows up in the worst ways, because when you don't deal with it, then it festers inside of you.
Right.
And it creates this negative environment. And, as Harv Eker says, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if it's showing up in one area of your life and you're living with it in one area of your life, it's showing up in other areas. And the worst part is it shows up at the most inopportune times. I mean, think about it. Have you ever blown off or, blown up at somebody and you say, where the heck did that come from?
Who was that screaming Mimi that just ran by?
Exactly. Who is it that's having road rage, right? I mean, this is how it shows up in people's lives. And a lot of times things happen and you don't even realize where it's come from. Yeah. And so it's really important to deal with it. And yes, we all deal with shame. There are 5 different areas where shame is created. One area is an unrequited love. Where you feel rejected, where it's unrealized, and you really wanted this love of your life, and it just didn't happen. And it happens sometimes with parents. You want as a little child, you want your parents to love you so much, and for whatever reason, you feel like you're rejected. Sometimes it starts there. Other times it starts with relationships later on. I have a client right now. She and her husband have been married for 11 years, and they are just batting heads like I just can't even believe. He is so abusive to her, and he's trying to pull this business out from under her. And because of it, their relationship is falling apart, and her business is falling apart. Yeah, so it happens even as an adult. I know, it's horrible. Another area is in unwanted exposure. You go into your job or you're in class, you start as a child, right? You go in your classroom, the teacher calls on you and you get embarrassed because you don't know the answer.
Right.
It sometimes can start there. Other times it can be in your job. You have a clash with your boss and your boss called you out on something. And lo and behold.
And maybe publicly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Publicly call you out on something, right?
Absolutely. And you're afraid to come out and do things at that point because you're afraid it's going to happen again. Very scary. Being disappointed. You want to do something so badly and you go to do it and it doesn't happen and you become really disappointed in yourself. And sometimes you get disappointed in other people too, but you really get disappointed in yourself and you internalize that to a point where it just hurts and you don't want to try again. Another area is being left out. Say that you were in school and you weren't one of the popular kids and you feel left out, right? Exactly. It happened. It happened to most of us. When you think about even the popular kids at school sometimes felt left out, which is the craziest thing. So we all feel left out of something. And then being not understanding or having a feeling of not knowing. So you're kind of in limbo of whether you're liked or loved.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All those areas, Pat, you hitting in some areas with me. It really resonated a lot. Yeah, it really resonated a lot.
It happens with everybody.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we do internalize it and we do think that we're alone in it. And we don't see that there's a way out of it. We only see that we are feeling this internal pain and, we're feeling unloved and unwanted within ourselves. Never mind what's going on with the rest of the world, which, you know, you're dealing with that with other people, but you also feel that way with yourself. And you get to a point where you feel totally unloved and unwanted. And because of it, you're afraid, you get stopped. You're afraid to move forward with relationships, with your job, with a career, with making money. You're just afraid to move forward. It's a really important conversation because we all are there. And I'm going to challenge, you know, if you watch my show on Monday, the Business Money Mastery, every week I challenge you to do something. This week, I'm challenging you to put in below, because I can't say, put in the comment box because Facebook doesn't like that, right? So put below where you're feeling like you're unwanted, unloved, unrequited love, expectations not met. Put there, you know, come out and say it publicly, because you're going to find you're going to get support from a lot of people who are feeling the exact same way.
Yeah. I have to tell you, yesterday, I know. Today is Tuesday. Okay, yeah, Barbara, today's Tuesday. So Sunday morning, you know, like I'm a pretty happy person. But you know what? On the other side of that is the not so happy person. And Sunday morning, and I don't normally work at the restaurant on Sunday, but I had said that I would work for one of the girls. I got there and now I can't even remember what it was, but and I just was like pissy. and then that was just totally not me. But then it was like, okay, Barbara, let's stop. This is 8 o'clock in the morning. You're already, what is triggering this? And in that moment, I realized that one of the other people did not do what I wanted them to do. And so then it was like, all right, so what feeling did that trigger in me? That they didn't have to do what I wanted them to do. They did what they wanted to do. And right at that moment, that awareness of, oh, what was it in me? And so where did that come from? And I can remember feeling like that as a kid. And then doing things mean to my sister, my younger sister, who that was lots of times. I always felt that the attention went from my two older sisters, jumped over me and hit Debbie, to the baby of the family. And I can remember feeling that. And it was like, oh, yike. And that was exactly, and it came from the childhood. It was such a moment of awareness. And then it was like, all right, Barbara, yeah, you're going to let this go. This is going to, if you don't stop this right this instant, this is going to color the entire day. Yeah. But right at that moment, it was like, oh, yike, where did this come from?
Yeah. And it's funny you said that, Barbara, because that's why I always tell people, you know, things that happened to you in the past, good or bad or ugly, that it's good to get it out, because a lot of things stem from things that happen. Just like, you know, I'm always talking about my stories. I tell people about their stories. And I always say it's the strength. It's stepping stones of strength, because it strengthens you when you get it out there. And then it also, to add it, like I said, a little cherry on the top of it, that it helps others see that they're not alone, like Pat said.
Right.
Yeah. You know, that, you know, everybody thinks, you know, because I thought that too. I think we all sometimes think that, like, we're the only ones that was so embarrassed back when, you know, when we were younger. We were the only ones that got rejected. It's like, no, you know, when you put it out there, all of a sudden everybody's like, me. And then when you see all the me's, you're like, oh, I feel relieved just knowing that some other people went through it beside myself. And I don't know, for me, that changes. You know, I just feel like I have to get it out, because I want to help, you know, all of us here. I just want to help others, especially women, because we go through so different things. So if I can say, you know what? Yeah, when I was younger, I was the clown. I had a dunce cap in the corner of the room. Yeah, they talked to me, you know, and I'll start saying all that, and they'll be like, really? I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, you know what? I kind of went through that too, you know, and talk about a boss embarrassing you. Oh my God, I had one boss. It seemed like that was like part of their journey with me. Is like every time I'm in a room, I'm going to call on Barbara. I don't care what. And, you know, and at the beginning, I'd be like, like how Barbara said, be like, pissy.
Yeah, you're just pissy.
Yeah. That's like, why you keep picking on me? There's like 50 people in here, you know? And then after a while, I'm like, you know what? Come and get it. Okay, you keep calling on me. And then after a while, they didn't want to call me because I was like but doing it in a good way where it was showing me, you know, it was building me up. So I look at that and I said, you know what, something that was kind of embarrassing, whatever, turned out to be something that helped me grow into, you know, becoming now I can just talk and don't feel embarrassed about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you a very personal. When I was in first grade, I kissed a boy, or he kissed me, or whatever. And all the kids were around, and they totally made fun of us. And as I have, you know, when I started dating and as I got older, I hid my relationships away from other people.
Oh, wow.
And I don't, even now, I don't talk about a relationship that I may be in unless it's really solid and stable, and I know it's not going to go anywhere. You know, the fun of having a relationship, except with Barb, I talked to Barb about my relationships because I just started dating. Okay, I'm calling myself out. I started dating a month ago, and it's been years since I've dated. So, yeah. So, I mean, this is a big deal for me to even say that out loud.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, it caused so much shame. So the keys to really pulling out and pulling out the shame and actually dealing with it is you have to first bring light to it. Right. You have to be willing to say the words. This is what's going on with me.
Where you are right now, and just own it.
Yes, exactly. And then start untangling what you're feeling. You know, why is it that you're feeling the way that you're feeling? Where is this shame coming from? Like Barb was saying, Barb too was saying, about, being a kid and feeling going back to that moment when she felt like she, did something and it created this shameful experience, right? And then unhitch what you do from who you are. And this is really important in your workplace more than anything. I mean, in your personal life as well. But who you are is not the same as the activities you produce, right? So, you may have a road rage experience, but that may not be you. It's just the experience you're living in that particular moment. So unhitch it. Make sure you understand, I'm not that person. I just behave this way. It's like when you have kids, right? And you put them in timeout for what they did, not for who they are.
Yeah,
that's a good analogy, Pat, and because that is exactly true. Because I can remember saying to my kids, "Just go sit down and let's think and think about what you did."
Yeah, exactly.
Whether they do or not, most of the time my kids would just play in the corner, but it was like, but it wasn't. I think the analogy is correct, and just take some time out to think about it.
Yeah. Exactly, and then really start recognizing what triggers you. It's important that you recognize what triggers you, because then you can start seeing, okay, this is coming. I can stop this in its tracks, and I can go a different direction, right? And then the most important thing is to make connections with people. Don't be afraid to talk about what you're doing, what you're feeling, what's going on inside of you. Talk to people. Find a group of people, a tribe who will understand. This is the place.
Right.
This is the place, ladies and gents. This is the place. Jump in here and use this community, but find a community where you feel safe, where you can talk about what's going on.
And reach out to us. Reach out to us.
Yeah. We're all in the same boat together. We're human.
Yeah. And see, I love what you said, Pat, because I always tell people too that, what you deal with in life that's not your identity. And some people label that as their identity when they go through stuff and they're just, all of a sudden they're in this little corner like, well, this is me because, I'm shamed about whatever happened. And I'm like, no, that's your not identity. That's just you dealing with a challenge in your life that, that's going to move you to where you need to go. So don't treat it as this is Barbara. No, Barbara's just with something. And I, like you said, time out, because even when you're old, I put my own self on a timeout.
Yeah,
exactly. That was me Sunday morning. It was like, Barbara, get a life. Take a second, step back from this, because I was being pissy. I really was. And
get a life.
Just get it out and just admit to yourself that, hey, you know what? That's how I'm feeling right now. And Pat asked me, well, where were you feeling it? And it was like right here. It was choking me.
Yeah.
It was. And I was like, I am not going to let this. But that's exactly what happens. And then don't you think that I read a thing, and just the other day, in fact, is that people that are depressed are living in the past of things that they've already done. People that are anxious are the people that are living in the future for things that might happen, but they're not living right now.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like, oh, that is exactly what's happening with people. And so often I have said, if there is something in your past that you cannot do anything about, then just let it go. And every time it comes up, just say, hey, you know what? That's gone. I'm done. Get away from me.
But to add to that, Barbara, about things in the past, because I struggled with that for just like a few months ago. And I found out that I had things triggering that. So you have to really be like, okay, like certain songs, certain movies, certain people. It's like it was triggering a lot of stuff in my past that either I was like upset about, disappointed because it didn't happen the way it should, or just like, okay, real quickly, like you said, like Beth said, put it out there. Like the person that I went to prom with, to this day, I'm still upset at the fact that, I thought we were supposed to be together. And, then I look at all the, other relationships and then my marriage, and right now I'm, in separation mode. So it's like, if he would have just, I'm like, okay, Barbara, you were what, 17? 17 years old. And you're still thinking about this guy and he's married with kids. So it's like, why are you putting yourself, and in a certain song that we used to like, it brings it back on. Certain movies he liked, it brings it back on. So it's like, you have to really make sure that, your triggers, like you said, that to not keep bringing you back in that, in the past, and then you're not moving forward, or you're not in the present, as you said.
Right.
Yeah, I find that when there's a song that that triggers me back to the past, what I'll do is I'll create a whole new experience with that song. I'll play it and I'll do something completely different, so it becomes a new experience.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that way it's an
tied
to the whole experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good way to look at it and do. Yeah. Because I mean, it's funny because I like the song. It's funny. Like, I really like the song. I just think about something with the song. So I'm like, okay, let me like catch myself, like you said, Barbara. You experience it. Yeah.
Put a new positive experience on that negative.
Right.
Because you know what? One of the things, I mean, we've all talked about this. Your brain does not know the difference between what's reality and what you can create something new.
Right.
Your brain doesn't know the difference. All you have to do is get the new thing in there often enough that it thinks that, that was the original event. So,
and it'll change the neural pathway. That, like a big hard rope. And if you put a new one in, a new experience, it changes it, and over time it will dissolve that big old neural pathway. So it's important to replace an old with a new, and make sure it's something really fun. So like what I do is when I hear a negative song, what I do is I get out a coloring book, and I will color and color, and I'll play the song over and over and over. And I'll keep coloring and coloring, and then when I start thinking about the song, I think about the experience of coloring, which to me is the artistic experience is really pleasurable because I'm doing something visually. And it tangles up all my senses. I change it, so I'm including all my senses. And another thing that works really, really well, you're going to love this, silly putty. So silly putty is one of those things where if you're working on a creative project or any kind of a project, and you have to really use your brain, use silly putty in your hands, because what ends up happening is by using it in your hands, it disassociates all the regular thought patterns you have going in your brain, because your hand is focusing. It's that physical activity. And they actually have scented silly putty. And it comes with like all these amazing scents to it. And if you're using scented silly putty while you're listening to music or something like that, it really disassociates what's going on in the past and the present.
Right.
Yeah, I got some banana that really, I'm telling you, it's really good.
Yeah. That's so cool. And one of the things that I have done and I've had clients do is that when you have that negative experience, write it down, put it down in a letter or put it down, whatever, however, make sure you handwrite it though, not on a computer, handwrite it, write it down, and then you'll make a whole ceremony about burning it. Burn it. Because then it's out of your body. That's one of the ones. So something better. Hey, I'm all up for here.
And this like really, really works. You write it on paper, you put it in a jar, you fill the jar with water, and you freeze it. And then on garbage day, you throw that away. And I'm telling you what, it like locks it up right away when it's frozen. You put it in the water and you put it in the freezer, it locks it up. And then you get rid of it. And I'm telling you, it's not. I find that when you burned it, it was still like a residual because it's still in your environment.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it works like a charm.
And and isn't it? This is why we all talk about stuff, because you know what? You all learn things from other people. Yes. All of it, and that's one of the things too, is that I think part of why people don't get going, especially if they have a big message that they want to get out there, is that they're so afraid that well, somebody's already done that, because, and they shrink back into themselves. And because of something that happened in their past, that maybe they stepped forward and said, oh, well, that's already, say somebody said something that, oh, well, that's already been done. There is room for everybody. If you have a message burning in your heart that you need to get it out there, get it out there.
Yes.
Because everybody says everything differently. You've just now seen an example of that. Pat and I had a similar exercise, but a different strategy to do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now I have added to my arsenal of things that I can tell people, because if like for me, burning it worked for me. I loved doing it, but now, boy, that'll be something. Put it in water and then freeze it. That's awesome. Or watch it dissolve. Paper dissolves. Use it on that papier paper. I don't know what they call it here in Montreal. It's papier paper. It's that it dissolves.
It's forgiveness letters. They're really impactful, and they can be really good. The problem that I found with most people when they do forgiveness letters is they forgive people, and that's fine, but they don't forgive themselves. You have to put something in about forgiving yourself, and you have to also include the lesson that you learned.
Right.
Because if there's not a lesson that comes out of it, then it just is something that you can forgive somebody, but without that lesson, you're gonna relive it again.
Right.
And who wants to relive that again, right?
Right. Yeah. I look back on some of the things in my life, and it's like, oh, brother, my biggest breakthroughs came from some of the most painful things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
So I know. See, this is so nice, but time is of the essence.
We've got to guess.
Yeah. We can talk. So let's just give around just like maybe 30 seconds of giving the audience any last thoughts that you have. Start with Pat.
You are so worth it. Whatever it takes to get shame out of your body and bring it into the light so you can deal with it, do it, because your life depends on it. So take the time, take the energy, do what is necessary to figure out where the triggers are coming from and how to deal with it, and deal with it. Because again, you are worth it.
Yeah. And that you couldn't have said it better, Pat. That's exactly right. Because you know what? Shame, it's like it's a dirty word. Nobody wants to talk about it. But you know what? When you can bring it out into the open, and okay, a caveat here. Don't go sharing it on Facebook.
So true.
Don't go sharing it on Facebook, because then you're going to get all of the garbage stuff.
Yeah.
And then you'll get all everything that triggered anybody else. Get a trusted person. And right now, and I said this yesterday to somebody, that because her mom is going through a tough time. And I'm starting I'm going to have a retreat for widows, because I'm a widow, and I'm going to have a retreat. And so I was just telling her about my course, that it's going to be life after your late husband, 5 simple steps to get your sass back. And she said, wow, that's really cool. But as we were talking about it, I said, you know what, as we are going through stuff, sometimes it is so much easier to tell a stranger than it is to tell a family member or a close friend. And that's where Barb and Pat and I come in. If you have something that you just want to get off your chest, as a bartender, let me tell you, we were the lowest paid psychologists ever. People would come in, total strangers, and tell me, you wouldn't believe the stuff, but they needed to get it out of their body. And so, that's where we come in.
Yeah.
Connect with us. Connect with us. And if you have something to talk about. So it's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to this leave real quickly is just to make sure, whatever you do when you put it out there, just celebrate, because that's a victory. That's a victory.
Right.
Open it up. I have to give so much celebration to Pat right now, because she opened up and I know she didn't feel comfortable, but she still said it, that she's dating again. And I think that tremendously, I'm just so happy for you, because you deserve all the happiness in the world. We all do. And just to make sure, you put it out there to say, you know what, I'm dating. And I'm like, so, we can see you on. So that's the victory. Celebrate it. Put that smile on your face, like we always say, because this is the happiness 101.
This is happiness 101.
It is.
Do that. So
if you didn't watch my live yesterday, go back and watch it, because I talked about dating and business.
Yay.
Yeah, it's really kind of a fun talk.
Yeah, because I tried to come on yesterday morning, and then I sent Pat a note. I can't, because I've been known to have Facebook. Of course, I'm not the most techie person in the world. I was like, I can't get on to it. And she says, well, no, neither can I. I was like, oh.
So many Facebook glitches going on right now.
So many Facebook glitches.
Facebook made some changes about 6 weeks ago, and pretty much every time I go to get on Facebook now, there's a new glitch. So we just all have to be patient with Facebook right now.
The joys of modern technology. And that's I just kept saying. It's one of the joys of modern technology. And I am so grateful that here's the three of us. We are in 3 different states, and yet we are all talking to each other at the same time. How cool is this? So,
talking wherever you are.
And talking to you wherever you are. And so this is just amazing. So yes, we had the glitches and things happen in the lives, like when my dog knocked over my screen, things happen. And then you just laugh about them and you go on, because it's fun. It's fun. It's not how, and that's, so I'm going to leave with that. It's not a matter of how you react. It's how you respond.
Yeah.
Just respond to something and say, oh, well, it happened. Can I do anything about it? No. Okay. Go on. Yeah. Smile. Just say, it's all good.
Humanity.
Well, everybody, like we all said, and I'm not going to, because there's so many good nuggets right here, I don't want to mess it up. I just want to say, have a wonderful rest of your day and your week, and always keep smiling. Have that happiness in you. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Wow.
I know.
That was a great show.
I love how you said that, Barbara. That was pretty cool.
And the thing is, though, look at timing. I had, like you forget what shows you've done. And there we were talking about it. So that's how timely a subject it is. We quit beating ourselves up for things.
And that's what was so powerful about that show too. When I was, listening to it, like I said, going through it last night, I was like, oh my God, see? I mean, we're still hitting what's needed right now when we were talking at that time. And now it's still,
that's when we were still the Happiness 101 show.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say too. I said it was the Happiness 101. I said, wow, we are going back. But the other part was, I was even going to the point that we were so timeless. We were even timeless when we were talking about Facebook glitches.
Yes. It's still going on.
I was like, okay, now that's kind of bad. We're still dealing with stuff 2 or 3 years ago. It's like, really? Facebook, come on.
Yeah.
But no, I just hopefully that put, a smile in your heart, Barbara. Because I really, you knew Pat, like I said, you two were just like this. And I feel like she was a sister to me too, but I know that you and her were close. And I wanted to give you this gift because, you know, like you said, I know we talked, and it's funny, we talked in that video about, you know, don't look at the past and all that stuff, but sometimes it's okay to go back and just listen and just feel and get the, because I still got the learning experience from it.
I know. And a couple of things that Pat brought up that I had forgotten. Because you forget, because you know, and so it's like, ooh, freezing a letter. That's a good idea. Freezing a letter.
And that's why I was like, I said, ooh, I was taking notes. I said, oh, I forgot about that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. But no, I didn't ask you, Barb, did you ever have that widow retreat? I know you mentioned that.
Just that with it was more like a little workshop. And it was fun. Just the little things, and I did it kind of has like a little Facebook challenge. Oh wait, gee, but I'd have to grab it back out again because then I eventually had to take you can't leave it up forever. But it was like a little 5-day challenge type of thing, and just got some really good feedback from it, and a couple of people that it was like, wow, Barb, that was so. It's all about release. It helped them. It was like, Barb, it was like you were talking to me right at that moment. Wow. And that's what the importance of, and that's why we still do this show. It's so this show was for somebody today. Yeah. And that's what this morning when I was thinking, I said, oh, we're going to do a tribute show. But then it was like, God put it on my heart to talk about the beginning part and to share that. And it was like, ooh, this is for somebody. So somebody is listening for this today that needed to hear it.
Yes. So, always learning, always forever learning. Yeah. And I appreciate you. I always have to say this to you because I always want to make sure I do this, is that I appreciate you so much, Barbara.
We're a team. We are a team. Like so often I brag about you of how good you've been just about getting people visible and doing all the stuff that you're doing and all the tech stuff. Thank the Lord you do the tech stuff. Thank the Lord you do the tech stuff.
But you know what? It's funny. And then I know we're going to end right now because we're running a little bit over, but that's okay because it was our celebration. But I just want to say that to let everybody know out there too. And Barbara has said this a lot too. This Barbara here too. This Barbara has said that, sometimes you learn from, going to class, taking skills, going to, webinars. And sometimes you learn just from trial and error. And I'm saying that because a lot of stuff that I've done, like the videos I do, those commercials and stuff, it was a lot of trial and error. Now I give kudos to LaWanna. I had to put LaWanna Bradford out there for a second because she's the one that's trained me on a lot of the videos. But most of the time I was just like, ooh, that didn't work. Ooh, that don't look, So just sometimes you just have to just jump and say, you know what, let me try it. Let me just see what I can do. See what I can do. You never know. Yeah. You never know what's going to happen.
One of the things I'm working on right now is creating a landing page. But right now, I thought the landing page looks great. The links aren't working. Not sure why. Oh well. Go back to the drawing board. It's
seen that text. Seen that text.
So just take a look at the page, see what you think if you have any suggestions. But it's like, okay, oh well, that's okay. But it's when we let those little glitches color our world.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Colors are not, dark colors are not good. No. So if you are, that's my tip of the day. Besides all the other stuff. If you are feeling a little down, put on something bright. Put on bright lipstick. I don't care if you don't go out of the house. That's fine. You don't have to go out in it if it's not you, but put it on. Put on bright lipstick. Put on I wear them all the time because that's who a part of me is. But put on something bright.
Yes.
Put on fun music. Put on a bloopers show. Whatever it is to make you laugh.
Yes.
Because we have to raise our vibration. So that's my lesson.
So
raise
true.
Your vibration.
Well, Barbara, thank you so much. I want to just again, I have
Thank
2
you for
years. Let's keep going. I'm seeing us to keep moving with this train,
yes.
and I enjoyed this month. I enjoyed you. I enjoyed the guests. I enjoyed the
We've
tribute
had
to
been
Pat.
fun.
It's just been. I'm just in awe right now. My heart is just
Thank you. Yeah, it's been such a great team effort.
Yes.
Because we each have our strengths, we each have our weaknesses. You know me, brother. Don't leave me in charge of tech. I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
You're not as bad. You're getting better.
I'm getting better.
Yeah. Just like okay, we're gonna throw it out there for me. I'm not good when it comes to the scheduling, getting guests, especially the wonderful guests you bring on, making sure that we're on target and stuff. That's you. So that's why I said, see, you help me and I help you and we help each other.
Yeah. And I'm getting more organized of getting our the information for our guests up before the day before.
Well, another thing I like is the link. I'm so glad we switched to Calendly because that puts it on. And you know what it does, which is nice? It sends them a reminder to say, oh, by the way, you're going to be on the show.
By the way.
So they can't really say, oh, I forgot, unless they just don't see their email. But besides that, if systems work sometimes, systems work. Systems work.
So awesome.
So Barbara, next week, real quickly, I know we have a guest lined up already, or do we?
We do. Her name is, I believe, Kaylee.
Kaylee. Yes, Kaylee. So we're starting off the new month of July. I want everybody hopefully have a nice and safe holiday this weekend. Can you believe it's almost July 4th? I'm like,
July 4th. Yeah. Happy anniversary, America.
Yeah. Welcome to the world, halfway in here.
Yeah. And let's remember our armed forces of why we get to celebrate those who died, giving us our freedom. So let's remember that. And yes, I'm still Canadian, but you know what? It still applies. I live here. And you know what? So say thank you. If you see a veteran, they're in there. Especially if they're in uniform, say thank you. Say thank you for your service. It's so important. Say thank you for your service.
Yeah,
because
even with a lot of changes that just happened, and we're not going to get into what just happened.
You might not agree.
We still need to.
But they signed on the dotted line, and they were willing to give everything.
Yeah, so
including their life.
Show the respect. Show the respect. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, Barbara. So we'll see everybody next Tuesday.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
And happy anniversary to us.
Take care. Love you.
Have a good one. Bye.